Hey guys, it's Shy. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and if you're not, hey boo. So for today's video, as you can see, we are playing in some color, okay? So this makeup look and style was influenced by Muamason, and the technique is also inspired by my boo Tatanisha Sankar. Both of these creators are amazing when it comes to eyeshadow. Mason came up with this beautiful color story. The technique I used was definitely more Tatanisha inspired, but it came out great, okay? It's giving when two worlds collide, and I'm obsessed. I did pull out the Ellis Volume 1 palette, and this is a Big Daddy palette. Now, it's not as big as my P.LOUISE palette, but she is pretty big as well. So as you can see, the color story is absolutely phenomenal. So if you guys want to see how I created this look, and if you like playing in color, then you'll like it here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get into this Mason and Tatanisha inspired look. Hey y'all, we're starting off with some nice moisturized skin, and we're going to do a little skin prep starting with the DANESSA MYRICKS Water Powder Serum. I took about like 5 or 6 drops, and I'm just applying this all over the face. Of course, we're going to also apply some lip balm for these dry, crusty lips. And I'm going in with the Sephora Fluff and Fix Brow Wax in clear. And then to prime the face, we're taking the DANESSA MYRICKS Blurring Balm Powder in Universal Radiant. And this is going to help give you that glow from within while also mattifying the skin. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my brows off camera. And here we are. Okay, get into the eye look. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and show you how I got it on this eye. I took the P.LOUISE Blank Canvas eyeshadow primer. Now this does dry really matte, so you want to make sure that you're buffing out the excess. So right now I'm applying it on the brow bone because I want to make sure that the brow bone pops, and then I'm just patting it out because like I said, you don't want it to dry crusty. And then I'm just using that mixed with a little P.LOUISE base to apply onto the eye. So getting into the palette, we are taking the Ellis Atlantis Volume 1 palette, and these are the colors we're going to be using. So the first two, we're taking Specimen and Voltage, and then for the mint, we're taking Vortex and Cosmic. And as you can see, these colors are super vibrant. Then we're going to just tap on just for the shape. For the like lavender purple, I used Illusion, and I'm just taking that on the outer and inner corner. And we're not really focusing too much on the blend. I'm just trying to get a general area of where I want to place the color. For the hot pink, I took Hypnotic just to map out the crease. And then for the darker purple, I took Atlantis and Figment. And that just gives it a little bit of depth. And then to darken it even more, I am going into a black called Void. But we're just going to go back and make sure that everything is nice and blended. I ended up switching to a more fluffier brush. That way it has a seamless blend, as you can see. So here I am adding Void just for some depth, because I feel like it just wasn't dark enough for me. So we're adding a little bit of black, and I'm just being very careful about how much I'm using. So the key to this is a lot of blending. And now we're going to go ahead and cut the crease with a little micellar water. And I absolutely love doing this because it just gives the eye more structure, more structure and more shape. But I'm lazy most of the time. So here we are using that same base to cut the crease. And you also, like I said, make sure you tap off the excess. So here I am just buffing in that base. So for the lid, we're just taking those shades all on the lid. So I went back with Illusion. Then we did the mint with Vortex and Cosmic. Then we went with Specimen and Voltage on the inner corner, and then I popped a yellow on the most inner part. So basically using the same colors in reverse, and then I'm just adding, going back just to intensify the color. So you want to build it up because you want to see the pigment. So that's what I'm doing here. And as you can see, it's making a huge difference. And I am going from side to side to blend it. We're going to add some liner. I'm just lining the lash line. We're not doing a wing or anything because I feel like this look is dramatic enough without any wing liner. So going back into Void, I'm just setting that liner and intensifying the black just for the depth. So here we are cleaning up the edges with some makeup remover just to get those edges nice and sharp. Okay. And that does also make a difference. It just gives the eye more of a lift. So we're going to go ahead and do some color correcting. So I am color correcting around the mouth and a little bit underneath the eye. Even though my under eyes are getting a little bit better, we still want to make sure that we have a flawless base for this flawless eye look. Okay, so I'm just blending all that out with a sponge. Then we're going to do some underpainting, and I'm taking the Jordana TICIA Bronzer Duo. This one is in the shade Eternal Sunshine, and what I love is that it comes with a cream and powder bronzer. So I'm starting with the cream for this one, and as you can see, it is a little bit more on the deep side. It is very rich, but we're using this under foundation. So I am just blending it out. It blends like a dream, and with these bronzers, they have such a huge range. So I'm really loving this, and I love how it comes in a duo, so it's pretty compact. So I'm also taking that cream bronzer on the nose, but this is in the shade Tropical Temptation, just because I felt like Eternal Sunshine was a little bit deep. I ended up switching it to Tropical Temptation. So it's a lot softer. It's more of a natural bronzer on me, and I like the tone on it. So here we are just applying lashes. These lashes are actually linked in my storefront or showcase on TikTok. So if you're interested, head over to my TikTok. I love these lashes. So for foundation, I'm mixing these two just because I've been really loving this cocktail, and I'm just applying this all over the face. I'm even going to go over the bronzer a little bit just because, you know, the bronzer was a little intense. So we're just using tapping motions just to apply it all over the face. And as you can see, everything is blending nice and seamlessly, and that's why I love these foundations. And I'm just going to go over it with a sponge to soak up any excess product because we don't want to look heavy or cakey on the skin. So going into cream bronzer, yes, we're adding more bronzer. This is in the shade Tropical Temptation. As you can see, it is a lot softer, but it still sculpts the face. So I wanted to try out this Patrick Ta blush duo in She Goes to the Gym. Now, y'all, I am so glad I got a mini one because I would have been mad if I had the big one. This is basically the same as my Morphe Cheek Thrills, but a lot more glowy. And it just wasn't pink enough, so I went with the Jordana TICIA blush just to give it a little bit more pink. And I feel like this helped, but ultimately, I feel like pink blush just has me in a chokehold. And it's just really hard for me to do my face without doing pink blush. So we're just taking this Pink Honey concealer, and it's a full coverage concealer. It's soft matte as well. You don't need a lot. So we're going to just spray the face using this Kosas Plump and Juicy Serum Spray. Now, I should not have done this, okay? Because when blending it, I forgot. It is a serum spray, so it was low-key breaking apart my concealer, but I thought that I could use it as a hydrating mist, but using this to like melt my powders is a no-go. This is definitely more of a skincare product. So I'm just adding a brightening concealer from Pink Honey just to help, and using the sponge helped make sure that everything blended nicely, but I did have to really work it in to make sure it wasn't going to be patchy underneath the eyes. And of course, we're going in with my handy dandy one size translucent powder because we want to make sure that everything is going to be nice and smooth, okay? And I want to make sure that I keep my brightness. So I'm just setting that underneath the eye, and in the center of the face where I applied concealer. So now we're going to go ahead and dip into the powder from Tropical Temptation from Jordana TICIA. And as you can see, it gives you that perfect golden sun-kissed bronze that complements my skin tone so well. And normally I wouldn't have picked a bronzer this color, but my boo Ashley, y'all go follow her, she actually recommended this shade and I'm so glad I picked it up. She is very similar in complexion to me, so a lot of her recommendations work for me. So I'm just taking that same powder bronzer on the nose to sculpt, and then we're gonna set the cheek. And I like the powder in this duo way better than the blush. The cream blush in this duo absolutely is not my favorite, so I probably won't be buying from Patrick Ta again. And just to enhance that pink, I'm going back into that Jordana TICIA blush just to soften the edges on the cheek for that diffused look. And then we're going to go ahead and reverse contour that nose to snatch her up. So we're just adding that one size translucent powder, and of course I'm doing the center of my face and going on my brows because I do get pretty oily for the brows, and then I'm just baking underneath that cheek because we're gonna have a nice sculpted face. So now that we're baking, we're gonna go ahead and work on the lips. So I'm taking this Jordana TICIA lip liner, and this is in the shade Mahogany Muse. It is a little bit on the warmer side, but I really wanted to try it out since it was new to my collection. And then once we have the lip liner on, we're just going to go ahead and go back to finishing this lower lash line. So I did take this P.LOUISE eye base in Lullaby Lilac. So it is supposed to be a light lavender shade, but I feel like it pulls more white, and I really should have set it with an eyeshadow just to bring out the purple, but I just went with the eye base. And now I'm just going into those purples underneath the eye. So I did Atlantis and Figment, and then I blended it out, and then I popped in Vortex and Cosmic right there on the inner corner because I wanted to bring in that blue. So we have a little blue and purple on the lash line, and then I'm taking Void right there on the outer corner. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of tight lining using the Sephora Collection eyeliner, and y'all, these eyeliners melt like butter. So we're just gonna dust off this bake using the Makeup Forever powder foundation, and we're just pressing that in. And then to dust off the inner corner, we're going into this Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder. Y'all, don't be scared of the color because as you can see, she adds that brightness without doing too much. It gives me that perfect inner corner pop that I love. So I'm just dusting off all that bake, and then I wanted to do a little bit of a pink highlighter, so I picked out this one from House Labs in Pink Quartz, I believe, and it was really cute, but I feel like it wasn't popping enough, so I pulled out my Fenty Beauty What a Brat highlighter, and she got the job done. Okay, look at how blinding the cheek is adding What a Brat on top. And I'm obsessed with how this base came out. So I'm also adding that on the nose, and then we're trying out this new Morphe Lip Lock Glossy Lipstick. This is in the shade Caught Rose, and it's actually not that pinky on me like I thought. So now we're just adding a little bit more definition to the lips. I'm taking Subdued Spice from Jordana TICIA, and I really like how warm this lip was, but it wasn't light enough for me, so I added a little bit of concealer to the center. And then to set the face, I'm using this Too Faced Makeup Insurance Setting Spray, and this is the final look, y'all. The face is giving, the eyeshadow is giving, everything is nice and blended, and I'm in love. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.